Hey guys, it's your boy LostMindLenny, and today we are back with another video, and this one is going to be a special one because we are having a new year Q&A. I hope y'all are excited because um I was planning to drop this one way sooner, but bad news folks. First day of 2026, I became sick. That really sucked. It really delayed my progress with this video because I couldn't record myself because I sounded too sick. Also, for the people that didn't know that I was having a Q&A, I don't blame you. I was advertising this video in December on my Twitter, IG, and also my TikTok, but good chance that you don't follow me on those platforms. But hey, here we are. I've gathered a couple of questions, and I'm really happy that there are people that were dedicated to help me and think about questions, because I have to admit some of them are creative, some of them are maybe a bit goofy, and I have to admit that some are from my friends. And in the background, I'll be also building my real life house in Minecraft. It's probably not accurately size wise, but visually I would say it comes close. It comes really close. But I have to warn y'all guys, I'm not a builder. I'll be also be confessing my feelings towards last year, 2025, and I might have a lot to say. But I hope you maybe have some food ready or you're busy with something, because I hope this video is going to be long. But no further ado, if you like my content, please like, subscribe, and comment if you feel like sharing your thoughts. Also, don't forget to check out my Linktree in my bio if you're interested in my platforms. I'm also trying to be active on Twitter for maybe the ones that like interaction. My DMs are open. Okay, now for real, let's jump to the questions. Okay, this question is coming from mmj.597, and his first question is, how old are you? Well, I'll let you guess. Okay, this takes too long. I'm 20 years old. You might think that I'm younger or older, but I don't know. I'm just 20, guys. I don't have a lot to say about that. What's your favorite anime? That's the second question. Well, I'm not going to lie. I don't really have a favorite anime. I'm kind of mixed with watching anime nowadays because I have seen a couple, but most of them, like, I watch mainly mainstream, but I haven't seen all of them yet. But I would say I really enjoy JJK at the moment. I really like the characters and how they are designed, the personalities and everything. And I would say they have an interesting plot and also, let's say, less important information, actually basically like lore. I also like that about JJK, I'm not going to lie. And I'm also currently enjoying Demon Slayer. But I have to admit, I'm not a fan of the story. I think it's really basic, of course, but the animation looks so good. Of course, it carries it, so I would say those two. Okay, I'm going to my second person that asked me a question, and his name is Crumble Blast. Okay, his question is, if you were to use music to battle mobs, what song are you going to use as a weapon? Well, this one, I'm not going to lie, Crumble Blast. This is a creative question. What music would I use to battle mobs as a weapon? That would probably be Discord from the Living Tombstone. I really like that song. I'm not going to lie. So I will battle them with this crazy audio design. They will for real not stop bumping their heads when I come with this one. Okay, this third person that came with questions, and he or she came with a lot. Its name is Rome.png. Oh, and I'm also giving out, yeah, I think it's already obvious that I'm giving out shout outs right now, but if you feel like following them, please do. I really appreciate their support. Okay, so Rome's question is, who is your VTuber Kamiyoshi? VTuber Kamiyoshi. I'm not even familiar with that word. Let me search it up real quick. Kamiyoshi is a Japanese slang popular in idol and VTuber fandoms, meaning your ultimate or god tier favorite member above all your other favorites Oshis. Supreme choice who holds a spatial, unwavering place in your heart. It combines Kami, God, and Oshi. So, like, my favorite god character, but in the context of anime? Let me think. Okay, I think I've looked it up a bit more, and God's favorite between VTuber or celebrities. But I believe with the context of Japan. And I'm not going to lie, I have no idea. I'm really not busy with VTubers and stuff like that. Even though I have to admit, I've been following lots of VTubers on Twitter lately and also on IG. That's mainly for networking, honestly. But just to answer your question, I've looked for some examples for Kamiyoshis, and just to make a decision based on its design, I think Iron Mouse has a pretty cool design. Sorry that I can't really give you a proper answer. Okay, to Rome's second question. Do you believe money buys happiness? Do I believe that? Well, that's a really great question, and I would say if you're looking for a black and white answer, so yes or no, I would say yes actually. But if you go into a more grayish part where I can give you more a more deep explanation, I would say also kind of. Look, I believe that yes, if you have money and you don't have friends or relatives, families, and you're depressed, then no, money won't do it for you. But if you have all those friends around and family, and you may be in a tight situation, having a lack of money or lacking financially, having not enough money can also make you sad. So I also believe that yes and no actually. But I would say yes, black and white. Okay, next question. Have you been to a convention before? If so, which ones? If not, which would you like to attend? Well, I've been to a anime convention once, and it was really funny. Um, it's called Tomo Fair, and it's in the Netherlands. And it was really cool. I'm not going to lie. I have to admit that it was a rather small convention. They held it inside a gym, a school gym. You mind that? And there weren't so many cosplayers, to be honest. Maybe because the culture in the Netherlands isn't that huge. It might not be, but I would say I enjoyed it. But also by coincidence, I was also really sick that day. It was horrible. I was so sick and I should have stayed home, but I still went because it felt like I would waste that moment if I didn't go. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, and you know what? I'm also going to answer that next part of your question. That if I didn't went to one, which one would I like to go? There's also Dutch Comic Con. I like that, and even though I don't have a lot of knowledge about Twitch, but this year I feel like yes, this year I want to stream. I'm going to make it happen. I would also like to visit a TwitchCon maybe. To the next question. What are some hobbies that you have? Okay, some hobbies. Well, I have to admit, I don't have a lot of hobbies. I do like to game, but I know that I also sometimes get tired of gaming. So Mostly gaming, hanging out, chilling, and sporting. That's actually most of the things that I do. I know it doesn't sound that really interesting, but that's just how I spend my days mostly. What are some things you wouldn't tell your family members about? Oh my gosh. Are we already going to the embarrassing stuff? Okay, let me think. Okay, I think I have one. This one is it's really silly, but what I often do when it's really late, like I'm talking about 11 to almost 12 p.m., almost night, I like to go when I feel like it. I like to sneak out, go to my nearest snack bar and get some food and get as fast as possible back home. And I know my parents don't know that I'm doing it because I'm also trying to be really sneaky about it. Like when my parents are occupying the bathroom or when they're already in bed, that's the moment that I stick to my plan and I just sneak out to get some food. I know it's really some big back activity. Have you bought VTuber merch or any merch of your interest? No, I didn't. Well, like again, I don't have a lot to do with VTubers. I don't watch them. I only follow them on Twitter. But who is your favorite band slash singer? If you can't think of one, what genres of music do you enjoy? My favorite band slash singer. Well, that's also a really difficult one to answer, you know? That's a difficult one to answer because I feel like my taste and artists that I liked have changed a lot, and I also changed a lot myself. But I really used to listen a lot to Uzi. Well, I don't want to say that I don't like his music anymore. I really love his music still. Like his old music are bangers to me, and I still listen to them till this day. But I felt like he's declining a lot lately, so I'm not really messing around with his new music anymore. But that has to do with hip hop as well. I feel like hip hop had its prime, like maybe 3 to 6, 8 years ago. I feel like hip hop was doing really great, and after a while, it really stopped. I feel like hip hop is really dead right now, and that some like a small group of artists are now carrying now the mainstream of hip hop. So I don't feel like Uzi is my favorite artist anymore. I also used to listen a lot to Jaleel. Jaleel was also crazy. I really liked his music as well, and I wanted the portrait of him. Also, the same with him, and I also feel like his music and him as an artist has been declining lately. So, to tell you which genres I better enjoy now are hip hop, but like the old stuff, not the new stuff. I would say dubstep maybe, because the Living Tombstone is killing it. I'm not sure if you can count them as dubstep, but I for real like their music as well. But I think that's most of it. Yes, hip hop, trap, and more vibey music. What's your favorite game genre? Also a really nice question. I really like the Souls games. I've been posting a couple images of myself playing some Bloodborne on Twitter because my sister gave my PS4 back and I really thought that she didn't have it anymore. I really gave my PS4 a cleanup and it works so good. I bought Bloodborne in an instant, enjoyed it again. Souls likes are amazing. I first started with Bloodborne, then after Bloodborne I played Dark Souls 3. I should still play the first and the second. After Dark Souls 3, my final game was Sekiro, and Sekiro was amazing. I've beaten it 2 times, and that was with the Shura ending and also the true ending. And I also finished all the hard boss rushes, and I swear that game is crazy. It's really stressing me out. I remember doing that boss rush and my little cousin walks up to me and tells me all about, yo, where's this, where's that, and I was like, yo cousin, shut up, can't you see that I'm playing? But you deserve that though. What is a hobby or interest you would like to try but can't, budget or skill wise? That is an interesting one. Well, if we're talking about skill, I'd say it's always been cool to me how you have so many artists that can produce this high quality art. I would say that it looks awesome, and it would be crazy if I also did that. So I would say that I'll be lacking skill wise with making art, even though I've never done digital art, but also with pencil. I've never been that crazy like that before. So that's one I would like to try if I had the skill. And if we're talking about budget, they've been popping a lot of cars lately on my FYP. So I'm not going to lie, being a car mechanic would have been crazy. But I know that also that has to do with skill, but also budget because you have to go to school for that. So I'm not going to do that. Okay, and now going to the last question of Rome, and that is, how would your perfect day look like? Go crazy. Man, it would be crazy if I had my driver's license, maybe a big jackpot. Like, I'm talking about lots of maybe random money coming in. I don't know. I would go. That's me going crazy, but to be realistic, my day would have been perfect with just an achievement, just something small. I feel like something that I've been striving for a long time is fulfillment and also achieving something. And I feel like the last couple of years that has been really difficult for me because most of my childhood I haven't been focusing on that. And as a 20-year-old now, as an adult facing more challenges, it feels like I've been lacking some stuff right now. But that has to do with insecurities and some couple stuff like that actually. But every achievement feels nice right now. I know I don't appreciate myself when I achieve something. I know I've always been overlooking it because me as a character, I like to look at other people, and when they achieve something, my achievements never feels like it has weight, but it actually does. And I know I shouldn't be looking at other people like that, but just a small achievement, like if I would ever blow up on YouTube with this, I would be really happy. I would be making content every day. I would really like to make this my full-time job if it was possible. I know that nowadays with our economy things are going pretty difficult, but if it was possible, I would take it, and that would be my perfect day. I hope that was crazy enough. Now we're going to my last person that asked a question. The last person with this question, that will be feno.03 underscore, and his question is, would you ever upload a ABA video? Well, if you had been paying attention to my videos, I'm kidding of course, not to be mean or something, but I did made a video about ABA, and that video is my most recent one, and that's the bot invasion of VTubers on Twitter, where I'm literally using ABA footage in the background. And very quickly, the last questions that I actually forgot to answer, but I'm going to put them in very quickly. Dingus3581, have you watched Neon Genesis Evangelion? And sadly, I have to say no, I haven't yet, but I might be watching it in the future. And the last one, I'm Dustin.gr. Where do you get your mods? Well, I'm using CurseForge, and I just browse through CurseForge itself, so it's mostly CurseForge. Well, guys, we have been through all the questions right now. If you expected more, those are all the questions that I could get, and I'm grateful. So I hope you're satisfied with my answers, but I would understand if you're not, because like I said, I don't know a lot about VTubers, but I still want to thank you all for participating. Now the deeper part. What are my thoughts on 2025? Was it a good year for me? What could have been better? And how should I improve for next year? Well, sorry to tell you guys, but I have to admit, 2025 was sadly one of my worst years ever. And I want to laugh it out, but honestly, there's a lot of pain behind that laugh. And it all started with my breakup. I had my breakup last year, and it was tough. It was really tough. My emotions were going crazy, but I know it was the right decision because it wasn't a good relationship. It was really toxic, but it was also my first relationship, so it felt like I knew better, but also at the same time, I didn't. So I stayed for a really long time. It was a long relationship, but I knew that it was bad, so it hurts. And what hurts more is letting it go because I've gave so much affection and I also received so much affection. It really felt like I lost a piece of myself, a piece I truly believe was the source of my happiness. I built so much of my identity and comfort around that relationship that when it ended, I didn't just lose a person, I lost direction. I later realized that the happiness I felt back then wasn't real happiness. It was attachment, fear of being alone, and comfort in something familiar. But at the time, it felt like everything. After the breakup, I didn't handle things the right way. I've made lots of mistakes. I started meeting new people, hoping that something or someone could fill the emptiness I felt inside. But instead of healing, I kept running from myself. And eventually, I ended up losing those people too. That was never my intention. I never wanted to hurt anyone, but deep down, I knew how things would probably end. I knew I wasn't ready. I knew I was broken. Yet I still kept going. I kept feeding myself the same poison over and over again, hoping that this time it would feel different. A part of me was desperately craving happiness, peace, and satisfaction. I just wanted to feel okay again, but in the process, I wasted others' people's time and my own. And that realization hurts the most because I know I could do better. This year forced me to face something uncomfortable about myself. I lost my self respect, and when you don't respect yourself, you slowly stop respecting boundaries, your own and others. I truly believe that before you can love or respect anyone else properly, you have to rebuild that respect for yourself first. I've taken responsibility for my actions most of the time, but I've also learned that responsibility doesn't stop at saying I'm sorry. It means changing. It means not repeating the same patterns because they feel familiar. And that's something I failed at this year. The reason I stayed stuck for so long is because the things that made me happy simply didn't work anymore. I felt empty, unmotivated, and lost. I didn't recognize myself. And instead of slowing down and healing, I kept repeating the same cycle, hoping it would somehow fix itself. But it didn't. And I don't want to live like that anymore. I want my strength back. I want to trust myself again. I want to feel independent, stable, and grounded. I want to grow, even if it's uncomfortable. I want to become someone I can look at with pride. Someone who doesn't run from pain but learns from it. Someone who doesn't search for validation in others but finds fulfillment within himself. That is my real goal. And honestly, I feel like 2026 can be my year. Not because everything will magically be perfect, but because I'm choosing to be better. I will try harder. I will upload more consistently. I will save my money instead of wasting it. I will study again and invest in my future. This is me choosing growth over comfort. So I promise you guys and myself that I will stay strong and that I will do better this year. Well, that has been a long one. I wrote that all myself, by the way. And I know it's tough, but it's the truth. It's the truth. And we do have to do better, of course. course. But for 2026, I will take things more seriously. I'll get a new job again because my current job didn't want to extend my contract, but my other job is going to pay me better, but I'm sadly still in process. So I'm not worried about that. I'll also work more on myself, meaning my behavior, my health, and the way I feel myself. I want to become more aware of who I am and how I move through life. I will also take things easy, so I won't stress myself out or burn out again. I know my concentration can be horrible at times, so it's only better if I approach everything carefully and at my own pace. I don't want to rush growth or force change. I want it to be real and sustainable, and I think that will be it. Briefly said, I will stay out of trouble. Okay, guys, I know this has been a really long one, and I'm so happy that y'all made it till the end, and that I had space to share my thoughts about 2025 and how things were going for me. And I hope that everyone with maybe a similar case as me will I hope that y'all also will do better. I hope things will also go your way. I wish y'all lots of success, much strength, and in the end, I want all of us to achieve fulfillment. I want all of us to grow because a thing that I'm tired of is stagnating, and that's something that I've dealt with for a really long time, and it also seems to be pretty normal in my family to stagnate. So I want to break that cycle. But of course, to end this video on a positive note, and I say it again, 2026 is going to be our year. No matter what we face, we will overcome it. So don't give up, guys. Well, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and also leave a like. I'll be planning to make new videos very soon. So stay tight, guys. And I wish y'all a happy new year, even if it's late. See you guys. Okay, guys, that was everything that I wanted to say. So before we end this video, let me showcase the full build of my house. Okay, so first we have the whole building. It's a terraced house, so it's actually attached to other houses, but this is only mine. We have the hall. It's looking pretty neat. The living room, as you can see, it looks pretty modern. The kitchen, the fridge on the right, stove on the left, dining table on the left. Okay, we have the first floor. Yeah, we're not supposed to go in that room. This is my room with a bed and a TV and my laptop on the side. That's where I make my videos. This is my bathroom. But I think in IRL it's a bit smaller. This is the second and last floor. Here's where I hang up my clothes and wash my clothes. And then we have the room of my parents, pretty big bed and everything. And this is the attic where we store all the junk. Okay, guys, but that will be all. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe for more. If you want to follow me on different platforms like my TikTok, IG, or Twitter, then I have a link tree in my bio. And I hope to see you very soon. Bye!